Vote cast not in favor of Clark went to Angel Reese. The vote kept Clark from becoming the WNBA's 5th ever unanimous rookie.
Who was the voter? Do you know? Anybody know?
Oh, it's going to get out. They're going to find out.
And this is why we would love for the WNBA to make voting not anonymous. Because if you were the person that had that one vote, you should just be able to stand on it, and we should know who you are. In the NBA, voting is not anonymous. Yeah. So I would love for the WNBA to make the voting so we see who put the votes where.
Another issue is plaguing the WNBA, and it might be the biggest of the year. Now, Alyssa Thomas is suspected of manipulating the one vote that prevented Caitlin Clark from winning the league's 5th unanimous Rookie of the Year award. How bad can it be, really? Alyssa had to go and cause even more trouble following the outcry over racism and harsh treatment. Everyone is staring at that one outlandish vote and wondering, who could possibly do something like this? Is Caitlin Clark being forced to leave the WNBA?
And we all know what this really is. It's an attack on Caitlin Clark.
Why is Caitlin Clark still being attacked? By now, have we all come to the conclusion that she is here to stay? Anyone with even a tiny bit of common sense would recognize how ridiculous this is. After Caitlin's rookie season, Alyssa Thomas had to add yet more layer of hypocrisy, Unanimous ROTY controversy explained. Not only is it unjust, but it's a smack in the face to all the fans who expected talent to be treated with basic respect. Let's now pose the question, who is the one voter who didn't believe Caitlin Clark should have received all 67 votes for Rookie of the Year? With the exception of one anomaly who selected Angel Reese, everyone else voted for Clark. After such an incredible season, you would have to be blinded by prejudice or living under a rock not to recognize Clark as the clear winner. However, Alyssa Thomas had to be the one who defied convention. Furthermore, this is not a one-time occurrence. Alyssa has a lengthy history of using the race card to further her own goals. She is consistently at the top of the list when it comes to disputes or charges of corruption in the WNBA.
Love for the WNBA to make voting not anonymous. Because if you were the person that had that one vote, you should just be able to stand on it, and we should know who you are. In the NBA, voting is not anonymous. Yeah. So I would love for the WNBA to make the voting so we see who put the votes.
If it weren't so ridiculous, it would be almost funny. Veteran league player Alyssa Thomas had the guts to vote for Angel Reese rather than Caitlin Clark. However, why would she act in that way? Perhaps it's because every time someone compliments Clark's skill, Reese, the same player, shouts out prejudice. Isn't that convenient? Not to mention that Reese asserted that Clark's admirers only like her because she is white. And yet here we are. So-called professional Alyssa Thomas chooses to vote in favor of that story. It seems to me more like racial prejudice masquerading as judgment than a genuine assessment of talent.
If you're the person who voted for Angel Reese, clearly I would think that you're aware of what the reaction may be. Would you put your name out there?
Sure. What's the true story here, Alyssa? Is it jealousy? You voted for Reese in protest because you couldn't stand it when a novice like Caitlin Clark took center stage. Your behavior betrays nothing but nervousness for someone who continually advocates for justice and honesty.
Broke records that were set by rookies. She broke records that were set by veterans in this league when they were double digits into their playing career. Caitlin Clark broke those records. For me, the individual performances of Caitlin were phenomenal. They were incredible.
You did not simply disregard Clark. You disregarded the league as a whole and all of the fans who had seen her break records. If you want to play favorites, at least have the guts to own up to it rather than pretending to be morally superior.
I don't care. I don't think Caitlin Clark's gonna...
Alyssa, let's be honest. You weren't acting impartially. You were being rude. And now the reaction is blowing up in your face. The league's integrity is being called into question by your unwillingness to put aside personal prejudices. There should have been a good reason to back Reese, but there isn't. Compared to Clark, Reese hasn't posted the same numbers, had the same effect, or enthralled the league. This has nothing to do with ethnicity or loyalty. It has to do with data, figures, and skill. Caitlin Clark possesses all three in large quantities.
In 10 years from now, do we go, yeah, but she wasn't a unanimous Rookie of the Year? I don't think we're going to care. I think that'll be the least of the awards that she wins that we'll be talking about. Yes, Mark.
However, let's discuss your past performance, Alyssa. Let's not act as though you have been a moral compass. You've spoken out about perceived insults and unfairness, particularly when it benefited you. Analysts break down career and reputation implications. Now that the roles have changed, you are the one being suspected. People are muttering, wondering if you're really the impartial voter you say you are or if you're just another manipulator trying to change the facts. To defend a position that no one else shares, you have damaged your own reputation.
Agree with it. I thought she would be unanimous. I mean, it's not even close because I said the most important person in the league is Caitlin Clark and should be a top 5, if not, it should have been a top 3 MVP candidate. But I'm talking about value, and value, we can all have a different opinion on that. Her value on the floor, in the arena, in the league, all of that.
There was no statement made by your vote. You appeared insecure and petty as a result. You chose the low way rather than supporting a coworker or upholding your purported values. You have cast doubt on the voting process as a whole. Both players and spectators are now questioning the legitimacy of the league's awards. This is more than a minor setback. It's a major controversy. And you know what, Alyssa? It revolves around you. Now, experts like Andrea Carter and others are advocating for increased vote transparency, which is a kind way of asking, Alyssa, what were you thinking? You've started a discussion about racial bias and corruption rather than skill. This is far more than just Clark or Ree. It has to do with whether or not people like you can be relied upon to render just and sensible decisions.
In favor of Clark went to Angel Reese. The vote kept Clark from becoming the WNBA's 5th ever unanimous rookie.
Who was the voter? Do you know? Anybody know?
Oh, it's going to get outed. They're going to find out.
That's precisely why so many people are doubting Alyssa's intentions. This has nothing to do with who actually deserves the prize. Alyssa is attempting to forward her own weary agenda. Even worse, fans and professionals are questioning whether there is more going on here than simply a single vote. Is this a private matter?
Those situations like that, you think it's probably something personal, huh?
To be honest, Alyssa Thomas has never held back when expressing her views on justice and racism in the game. She is the same player that files charges whenever it is convenient for her. Additionally, it appears that this vote is just one more chapter in her "Look at Me" story. But, Alyssa, this isn't about a personal conflict. This is the award for Rookie of the Year. It is intended to recognize talent, hard work, and outright supremacy on the court. And let's be honest, after looking at Clark's figures, it is impossible to suggest that Angel Reese deserves more. Unless, of course, you need to settle a small grudge.
She should have been a unanimous Rookie of the Year. And just for some historical context, a lot of time Rookie of the Year is typically unanimous or very close to it. Aaliyah Boston was unanimous. I believe Ryan Howard had about 53 out of 56 votes. Michaela Yoder, I think, was about 47 of 49. So it's typically close. But ever since, Angel Reese had that injury, to me, and also coming off of Olympic break, Caitlin Clark separated herself. Yeah. She should have been unanimous. Now, to celebrate her, one thing that people forget is as a rookie, she was the most blitzed player in the WNBA, and she still put up 19, 5, and 8 assists, breaking, like you said, the assist record. To be able to do that as a rookie in the face of that much defensive pressure, should have been unanimous.
Should have been. I agree. It should have been unanimous.
Alyssa Thomas's support for Angel Reese caused the internet to go crazy, igniting rumors about politics, competitiveness, and envy. Caitlin Clark's prize is now overshadowed by controversy rather than honoring her incredible first season. The validity of the vote and possibly the entire procedure is being questioned by fans, players, and analysts. Alyssa's choice has damaged team trust, raised questions about the league's integrity, and transformed what ought to have been a celebration of brilliance into an unwelcome scandal, all while the WNBA stays mute. Due to her own motive,